Hi there. I see a few people popping on. How are you doing? Hi, Jeanette from BC. Well, I'm located in Nova Scotia, so we're right across Canada from each other. Thanks for joining. It's early there. Your time, it's 10 o'clock, right? Hi, Jennifer. Did you get all your stuff pulled? I know that you were working on that. Oh, and I have to show you my cute mug. It's not mine, it's my daughter's. I don't know if you can see it, but it's these little vans. It's like a little van, and it kind of went with the theme. It wasn't intentional picking out colors with these vans, but I love those little vans. You got a few things pulled. Excellent. And I know over on Unique, Heather was supposed to pop on at the same time. Yeah, the Volkswagens are very cute, to give a sneak peek of the auction for tonight, but make no worries. It will be recorded, so I'm anxious for that sneak peek as well as what you guys are. So it's 2:01. I'll wait one more minute and we'll see who we're going to have. I know a lot of you guys kind of watch and then you play later. I hope you're really getting into the journal art. Tomorrow we will be doing our April spread. So I should actually bring down my journal so that we can review it to see where we're at so far. Let's see. You're supposed to be live right now, but showing the auction items. Well, everybody will get a good look tonight, so make no worry. So let's see where we went so far with our journaling. And you guys can catch up at any time, of course. Go at your own pace, but I committed to doing a year in review, kind of. So that's what we're doing. So this was January's. And you know, every time I pull it out and look at it, I like them. I like them even more, I think, than when they were originally done. January's. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I love doing them. And as you can see, there's a little bit of stick. So this is just parchment paper. I pre-cut them, but I should have cut them a little bit larger just to put in between the pages, because if you get any kind of humidity in your house, they may be wanting to stick a little bit. This was February's. I really like this one. I really like them all. So they're also very different. And this was March. This is the first time I looked at March since we did it. And oh, I like it more, that the colors have a chance to settle in. And you know, when you first do it, everything looks so bright and so vivid, which is not my preference. When I get my photos done, I get them done in matte. I don't like glossy things. So I'm very pleased that once the colors settle in, they kind of get muted. I really like that. Remember the moments. And this little card comes out. Time to begin again. And it was just the date in which we had our class for March. So I really like that page. So January, February, March done. And look, tomorrow we will be on April. So tonight, to prep, I will do my journaling. Hi, Diana. I'll do my journaling. So for those of you that may be new to this process, I do some journaling that is just what has happened in my life since the 1st of April. And then I kind of erase words out. I gesso over a lot of it. You can journal in a pen, a permanent pen, a pencil, whatever you want. But it kind of just gives you some place to put your thoughts down. And no one but you will ever know what's under your art pieces, because it will end up being totally covered. Like on this one, I can just see a few words peeking out here and up here, but everything else pretty much got covered, and not intentionally, it's just how the page went. So that's how I'll prep. I'll do my journaling, I'll put gesso down, and because this is a manila book, it is one of Dylusion's books, I do like to start with kind of a more white background. I don't always, but I will for these ones, because we are using such vivid colors. So let me get that out of the way, and we'll get right into it. So if you're playing with me today, get your stuff out and play along. If you're not, please chat, like, you know, chat with me, chat with each other, and let's just do this. Okay, so as I said, I use my color box, and I just go in and I flip through, and I pretty much look at the photos, and the ones that reminded me, like this reminds me of April. I was at the beach not too long ago, and those white top waves were rolling in. Hi, Erin. So, and I was very drawn to this color palette, so I like that. So this is going to be April. May, of course, everything starts to blossom in May, so I thought that this one will be very good for May. And I have to say, pink, I like a little bit of pink, so we'll see where that goes. And then this one will be June, because, you know, we're getting ready for the beach. So I really like these colors for June. So that's going to be our color palette. And I just pulled everything out of my stash that I thought would be suitable. Now, along with colors that somewhat match or have the same tones as our color swatch, I also pulled in or put aside some neutrals. So I have a kind of 2 shades of gray, well, 3 shades of gray. This is a cool gray, and these are 2 warm grays. I have like a ivory. This one's another ivory. Stamperia paint is awesome for gel press, I have to say that. And then I have some white, and I can grab some black if I feel indulgent to do that. But these are very upbeat colors, so I wanted to stay with that. So this is the colors I have, and like I said, I just pulled what I have. This is a beautiful one. Look at that. I thought this would be good for this swatch here. This is the turquoise Stamperia. This is just a Deco Art light blue. This is a Stamperia. I can't read that word. I have to take my glasses off to see up close, but then it impairs my reading, so I apologize. But it's a dark gray, and I thought that would be this one pretty good. And then we have another Stamperia Avocado for this green. And then I pulled out whatever yellows I had, because I didn't have like a mustard yellow. I kind of don't care for the distress paints for gel press. I find that because they're so reactive to water, they bead too much. Now that has been my experience, but I have not tried them since they very first came out, so it might be completely different. If you have them, pull them out, because you'll be able to color match. Like this would be mustard yellow or fossilized amber. You can certainly use your ink pads and just either tap your pad onto your gel press or brayer into your pad and then on. But again, I find it beads up a little bit. So I do like paint, but I'm going to try some other things. I have this Dylusions ink spray. It's called Lemon Zest. It's a brighter yellow, but I thought that might look cool splattered on. So that's kind of my colors for this palette. And then I have stencils pulled. I like larger stencils. Like, when I say larger, I mean larger openings. So you can have a small stencil with a large opening. But I just grab my big ones, because then we can pull the color out and then fill in with a different color, or we can stamp inside the openings. So I do like that for gel press. So I have a bunch here. I have my pan of water all set to go. I actually have an apron on. From my stash, pull out your dies and see what you have for dies. So I die cut some butterflies that I'll be able to use as masks if I so choose. Butterflies, and then I have some flowers. Oh, there's a random star. Got some flowers. And these ones are chipboard, so after I'm done I'll just put them back into their envelopes and can save them for another gel press session. And some leaves. So these leaves were used already before because I got paint on them. So that's fine. So I'm going to put these up here because I might want to incorporate some of those in for masks. Now if something happens that I drop off, I will start a new video. So I always like to say that. Having a sip of coffee. And I have this little solo cup. You can also pull paper towel or toilet paper roll or paper towel roll. You just don't want anything sharp on your gel press. I picked up some of these sponges from the dollar store that you can make indents. What else do I have here? I have stamps. This stuff here from the dollar store. This used to be a big hobby. I forget what it's called, but you put yarn through this. It's like a plastic, almost like cross-stitching material, but it's plastic. Plastic canvas. I think that was the name of the art. I have some bubble wrap that I've used lots of times. And then along with my paper, and I just use copy paper. That's my preference. You feel free to use whatever you want. But you can also recycle any envelopes that you get in the mail. Just start kind of collecting them. And I have to say, I keep forgetting, and ours go in the burn pile. But old receipts, envelopes that come in the mail, anything that's paperish, you can pull prints on. So I do have some tissue paper here. This is a glassine bag. This used to be big in the day, glassine. So I have some of these little bags. I have some dictionary paper and more of the tissue paper. So I just have a bit of kind of everything. But I like that, having it on hand, and everything is right around me. So I like lots of stencils. I have a pan of water. I usually use my stencils just the kind of the once or twice within the print, and then I throw them in my pan of water. Now if you don't have a pan of water and your ink dries on your stencil, no, don't fret. Unless it's a very tiny opening, so you're not going to ruin it. And I'll show you one that I did that on, and I think it looks pretty cool. So this is a stencil that I've used many times, and this one particular time I didn't wash it right away, but now I got this funky looking stencil, and you know, some of this paint actually might come off on my gel press. And yes, I could wash it and scrub it down, but why bother? So let's get going. So I'm working with my 8x10 gel press today. When I'm not using my gel press, I store it in this large tin. It is a gel press tin, and I don't know if Heather can get them. It's called a gel plate storage tin. You can get them in a variety of sizes. I got the largest one so it would store whatever gel press I have. I also have a 5x7 gel press, and that one I just keep storing back in its own container, and you can certainly do that too. But you want to make sure that you put your plastic back on it to protect it when it's storing for two things. You don't want it to get dirty or punctured or whatever. And the other reason is there's oil in your gel press, and if you leave it uncovered, it might dry out, and then it doesn't work as well. And you will see when I take it off, well, you can already see it. It's almost like an imprint of something that has olive oil on it. So you know that there's oil in here. Okay, where to start? Are we all ready? We all ready to start? I think that's enough jibber jabbering. So where's my color palette? I'm going to just put that right here. And I think I'll start with some lighter colors and then work my way to the darker. Give them a good shake. And less is more. So I'm just putting a few dots. I have mini brayers here, as you can see, because that's something else I like to do. If my brayer gets really grungy, I like to have a spare one on hand, but I do have a piece of paper here that I'll clean my brayer off on. So we're just gonna roll our first paint down, and you can always add more. It's very hard or wasteful really to take it away, because all you're going to do is lift it and put it down on your paper. So let's see what we got. That's a very light layer. I do have my drying tool here in case we get something too wet before we can put our next layer down. I'll dry it to speed it up. Yeah, really nothing on that one because it was too faint. So let's add some more, and it dried really quick. I find my house hot today, so whatever the temperature is in your house, that will affect your drying time as well on your gel press. So I've got some good coverage this time. Whoop, it slid right off. And I am going to take this number 1 and lay it down and take my paper back and see if we can pull the numbers through there. If your paint is drying so fast that you can't even get a print off of it, you can add a small drop of matte medium gel and mix it in with your paint. That's usually not an issue for me. Look at that. That's a lovely first pull. I like that. So I'm going to put that one to the side. And I think I'm going to grab a stamp. Get marking messy, yes. It's messy, but it's so much fun. I do have to do a clean every time I gel print. And that's why I like doing, like if we're going to do this, let's do 3 months at a time. It would be not very productive to haul this out every month for 1 month. So I have this stamp here, and I'm just going to leave it on its plastic. This one doesn't even look like it was ever used. It's Your Next Stamp Stripes. So sales, that's when you get your stamps. Not only that, the indigo blue stamps that are at the store, oh my gosh. Yep, those are at such a wonderful price point that it's fantastic. So I'm just pulling out an ink pad, and it's a darker color one. I gotta make sure I'm seeing your comments. Just gonna move my screen up a little bit. And I'm just gonna mark it up, and I'm gonna press the ink through the numbers. Now this is gonna go on my stencil. It doesn't matter to me. If that matters to you, then probably don't do this. But I would just want to get some ink through some of the stencils. And it doesn't matter what ink you use, because you're going to pull it up with the next layer of paint. Like I said, there hasn't been anything yet that I've used on my gel press that I has not come off, and it's certainly not my goal to find something that won't come off or ruin my gel press. But I watch videos all the time on gel printing, and I'm telling you, some of the stuff that people use, I'm thinking, no, but it's fine. Okay, I'm just going to put this to the side. Then I'm going to lift. Well, should I? No, I'm going to add another color on top of that. So I'm just going to give that a minute just to dry a little bit. And then maybe we'll do, that was a light blue. Maybe I'll do a dark green on top. You can see the difference. This is the Stamperia paint, and it's just so thick and rich. I see they got another collection online that's new, and I'm going to have a look at it and see if I have those colors already, because I did buy some individuals. Now I'm going to take my, oh, look at that. I think this is going to be good. Now I'm going to just toss this one in my water. I'm going to push it down in my bin. Should have a paperweight in there. And for cleaning my stencils, I just use like a light hand. You don't want to be too rough on them, and if everything doesn't come off, no, don't fret about it. Just wipe them the best that you can. I am leaving this dry for just a minute. And you can put your dry tool on your gel press. Like, not crazy, but you can do it like this just for a few minutes. I would not recommend you use your embossing gun on your gel press. I'd be afraid you would melt it, because there are oils in there. But I will just lightly dry it using my craft tool from Ranger. Anybody who's been following me knows that if I'm just drying something, if I need to get it dried, that's my tool of choice. If I need really hot heat for embossing, then I have an embossing gun. So now I think I'm going to use my yellow to pull this up. Saffron yellow, another Stamperia one. So I need to make sure I put enough down. I think this one's going to be a gorgeous pull. Get all your edges, and you know, I like it when some ink is left behind, because then you end up getting like nice grunginess at some point. So you kind of just want enough ink left that it's going to hold your paper. And I'm going back to, no, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to pull a clean one, because I don't want to cover my numbers, because we're going to get more numbers again. What are you up to, Diana? Almost done, Jennifer. Last couple of items, and then I can get, oh, with your school. Okay, let's see what we have. Oh, I like that. Look at that. Not only do we have some of the original blue, we have the green that went through. We have some of the marking from the stamps. There's some white space, which I like. Because as you guys know, anybody that's done the journaling with me, we kind of rip this paper apart, and we only use bits and pieces of it. So, and then the rest I save. I put in my stash, and you can use it for die cutting or whatever you want to do. So we still have lots of pigment on here that we can pull from. So I think now I'm going to take this dark gray and see what we can come up with, because we still have numbers down there. Anybody playing along? Oh, this is a rich color. And I prefer to kind of hold my tool up, like let it spin, versus just holding it tight and working it that way. Sometimes you can get nice prints from your scrap sheet. So this time I'm going to take my stamp press tool actually and give it a really good burnish. Now if you happen to leave your paper on too long, it can tear, and that's alright. If that happens to you, just gently, you can either put a little bit of baby oil if you got a lot of paper stuck to your gel press, and then gently with your fingers just lift it up, or water. You can try all kinds of things. And you can, for just a brief moment, dunk your gel press into warm, not hot, but warm or cool soapy water. Oh, this is going to be grungy. It's almost that black. But I like that. I like that. So this is what we have so far for this color palette. And then we are going to do more on top of this one. But we have, that one's really nice. This one, I can see me using pieces like that, and down here, like that. Let me know what you guys think. I do have to open my window just a moment, because it's getting rather warm in here. Just a wee bit. And that will help with the drawing as well. I don't think I'm seeing all the chat today. I'm not sure why. But if you're chatting and I'm not answering you, I do apologize. So now I want there's still some grunge on here, and I want more on here. So I think I'm going to take this nice blue again and blend that in. And I'm going to do some pale yellow as well down on this side. So half, like there's no rules. You can do dots, you can do polka dots, you can do whatever you would like. See a little goober of pink there. And when you blend one color into the other, it kind of gives it, changes the colors a little bit. And I'm going to put some leaves down this time. Anybody playing? Oh, you know what? I bet you guys are over watching Heather and her sneak peek. I bet that's where you're all at. Because most people have more than one device, right? I don't blame you. If I wasn't doing this class, I'd be over there sneaking a peek. Well, that's kind of cool. More separation than I kind of wanted it, but I should have really tapped in those little crevices. So I think I'm going to take one of these glassine bags and just get into, I love watching you and getting ideas. Well, that's good, Erin. I'm getting into these little crevices. So I guess that's a reminder when you're putting masks down or stencils down, make sure that you really get into the crevices. Oh, see, that's kind of the effect I was going on my other piece. But I'm just going to keep going here. I'm actually going to cut this open because I won't use it as a bag. And you could use like lunch bags. That would be nice. Lunch bags, like a brown paper bag texture. I think I have to get better at looking at what comes in through the mail, instead of just throwing it in the fire bin, since we're just pretty much out of fire season for wood fires. I'll be able to perhaps keep some things for our next class. And I'm not in a rush today, so if anybody has commitments that they need to get to, feel free to drop off. It's perfectly okay. And as long as, just leave me a comment when you do come over and watch. I always like to hear what you're doing, how you're using what you're seeing in your own work, just because I don't want to be on here wasting anybody's time if there's no interest. But I did commit to a full year of journaling, so that is happening, and I rather like it, to be honest with you. Enjoying that process. So I'm going to remove these, but I'm going to keep them. Might even be able to utilize them somewhere on our page if we want to. But I'm going to put them aside. And then I'm going to come in with, I think I will do, I want to keep looking back because I want to make sure we're getting enough tones. So we have the blue, we have lots of that dark, more than what we'll use. We have yellow. We don't really have any clear green. So let me come over this with the green. And again, we're only using bits and pieces of our paper, so it's not like you have to do the whole thing with green, but if you want to, you certainly can. Oh, I think I need a little more. Now, if you have the Vicki Boutin paints, those would be good here. I did have them, and I used a lot of them, and then some of them kind of dried up because, you know, the stuff isn't meant to sit in your stash forever and ever. It's meant to be used. So hopefully we'll get a nice green from this one. I just want to make sure we have some of all the colors in our palette. And then we'll move on to the next one. And that's another reason I like using copy paper, because it is thinner paper and you don't need as much ink to pull. Definitely getting some green in this one and some blue, so I'm happy with that. What color am I? Oh gosh, something fell and scared the bejesus out of me. What color am I missing? I think I want more of that turquoisey. I'm feeling like that and the yellow are going to be the real colors for my art pieces for some reason. I'm just feeling those colors. Let's see what else we have for stencil. see that there's not looking too bad. I'll save that, or I'll put it in the pile for this color palette. Get this yellow all the way on there. I'm going to take my bubble wrap because it's nice and big and put it over the entire thing and give it some texture inside the stencil. And then we're going to try to pull just the yellow, and I'm going to use a piece of the dictionary paper that I have here. And you can use your brayer on top of your paper too. It doesn't matter if you get a little bit of ink on it. Not for what we're doing anyway. So we got some nice color there. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up all the yellow out of the stencil as much as I can because it is starting to dry. And I'm going to put that over my stash. I'm going to lift up the stencil, and I'm going to just keep this to the side for now. I might come back to that stencil. And I think I will use, where's that light blue? Right here. And you can just go on and on. Like, you can put more stencils down, more masks. You can do whatever your little heart desires. Like I said, there's no rules with gel press. I'm getting some little bit of dirt. I think it came from the, I don't know what that come from. Unless I have something on my brayer. I do. I have some little pieces. So you have to watch that, and when you open up your paint, I probably should have opened it up not over the top of my gel press, because little bits of paint, the dried up stuff, came off and fell on my gel press. But it won't hurt the gel press as long as I get it all off. Oh, even if I don't like the other side, I like that. Oh, that's pretty. That's that blue and yellow. So we're definitely getting into the tones for what we need. I'm going to put that one aside, and I think I'll do one more pull, and this time I'm going to use a neutral. So I'm going to pull from my neutral pack over here, and I think I will use kind of a warm gray. So this will be the last. See what I mean by the little bits? I almost threw that in my coffee, because that's where my trash can usually is. And we're going to see if we can clean off our gel press. Yeah. Okay, something's clogging my hole here. So I'm just going to pour a little bit onto my press. And I'll leave these paints kind of out, and I won't put them away until we're done our page for that month, just in case we want to use the paints directly within our journal. Then we can have the same paints. And I'm going to put a little spritz of this bright yellow. See what this does. And this might actually end up being too dry. See, 40 minutes have gone already. It's retarded. Like, it's awful how much time passes doing this. Like, you can just have a full day of gel press. Well, that wasn't a total loss. I have some nice yellow there, but my other paint dried too fast, so we're going to have to come in again. And I think this time I'm just going to use white. Oh, that's a lot. Now see, I really want to get the colors lifted off. More paint goobers. I'm going to have to really go in and clean my paint tops. I'm really lazy when it comes to that. I don't do that very well. I kind of just roll with it. We'll say it adds texture. The little clumpies. And I'm going to take that paint's quite wet, so I'm going to take my little plastic spongy thing and just make some patterns. I feel like I have time. I felt like I had time last time, but that didn't happen. And I will save this one, and I'll put it in the pile. At the end, we'll look at all the different pulls that we got for each color palette. Oh, this one's good. I think this one will clean the plate pretty good. And like I said, I don't mind if little grungy spots are left around the edges, because when those do come off, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Now what's interesting, you see these big large blobs? Remember I put this dilution spray down and I brayered it out a little bit? That shape stayed on the gel press, and it might stay there for a few more pulls, but I really like that one. Okay, I think we got enough, and if we're lacking a color when we come to put our spread together, well then we can put paint directly on our layout to bring those colors back in. So I'm going to sit these over here, and that one's done, and then we're going to move on to the next one. How are you doing? So the next one is this. This one scares me a little bit because I love pink flowers, but like to wear pink or to have pink in my home decor, not really. And it's not a color that I usually use a lot in my art. So I always like to challenge myself a little bit too. So we're going to put this down, and I'm going to pull the color so we have like a little avocado green. I didn't have any pink paint, surprising, because I don't have it, but what I did have was liquid pearls. So we're going to see what happens pulling liquid pearls from your gel press. I bet magical things are going to happen. So we have those, and just like the yellow dilutions, I have the bubblegum pink, which is super brilliant pink. So I don't have true pink paint, but I think we'll be okay. The other thing I have that's kind of pink is Perfect Pearls Mist. So again, it's a spray, but it just adds a sheen or a shine. We might give that a whirl. And then we need a blue, which I have. We need kind of like a grassy green. So this is what I have. There's my green. There's my blue. This is almost like red to dark pink. This is the only red I have. I think it'll be too red, unless I mix it with a little bit of gray. So I might try that. So I'll bring my gray back over. And then this is the palest green I have. But again, I can add white to it to bring it down. So because this is kind of greenish to start with, I think I will start with a base of my green. So I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to add a little bit. Oh, this one hasn't been mixed in a long time. May not even be usable, we'll see. Yeah, that's better. And I think I'll add a little bit of white to that, just to tone it down a little bit. And I'll just mix it right over here on my scrap paper, and then we'll put it on our... Or I could have... Oh yeah, that's nice. I could have done it right on the gel press, actually. I think I will. So a little bit of white down the center. A little bit of this avocado green. It's drying really quick because I have my window open now, but I needed my window open, so I'm okay with that. And I think it's going to dry before I even get a stenciler to use. But that's okay, we'll put another paint in through the stencil. So this is one that I have in my stash, never opened it. It's a Dylusions, and it's just got all these funky shapes. I think I got this one not too long ago, actually, from Unique. I'm just going to put it down there. And what color can we put over that? I'm going to take this ivory because I really want the green to shine on this one. I'm going to put the paint through here. What's the weather like up your guys' way today? It was supposed to rain here, heavy rain, but then it changed to cloudy with a chance of rain, heavy rain tomorrow. So, got a few things done outside today, but not a lot. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull from this, and I think I'm going to use some tissue paper. Did you guys watch the preview for the sale? Tell me what you've seen. Please tell me what you've seen. Well, that's kind of cool. It's just like tissue paper with the design on it. I like that. I need to make a separate pile. And that tissue paper was tiny, so I'm going to get another piece for the other side. And tissue paper is kind of like rice paper. If you have, like it when we go to glue it down, we can certainly use our matte gel that I use for everything else. But you can use what's called rice paper glue as well. You just want something that's a little bit liquid that you don't have to wipe over many times, because tissue paper will kind of dissolve. Judy, hi Sherry, I haven't tried gel plate, but I'm wanting to try it now that I've seen you playing. Oh Judy, you, like your world just opens up, because you can use all the inks and sprays and everything that you have in your stash. You can use it, your stencils, your stamps, you can use it in an entirely different way just by adding a plate. So it is definitely fun and very addicting when you get going. Now, I don't have mine out, but anybody who has the Tim Holtz crayons, you could, because they're so heavily pigmented, you certainly could trace things using the crayons as well. That might be something that I do, like if I'm sitting here by myself. I'm going to shove that one in my little tin of water, but I don't want to take up your guys' time because that's kind of finicky work. Today is kind of that straightforward gel press. No, I love that design. I think you guys can see it. Look at this, the design that left. And the plate has green on the bottom, and it has this cream there. So what should we put on top? Maybe we'll try, let's try the blue and see what happens. Maybe I'll try blue on one side, because it's kind of the same on both sides. And I'm going to try this pink flamingo liquid pearls on the bottom part. Okay, ladies and gents, if there's any of yous out there, let's do this. That's a pretty smashing blue, and it's pretty much bang on with the color that we need. That's a Stamperia blue. Very pretty. So Stamperia, kind of like the set that's up new on the online store, is it goes with one of the new lines that came out, just because it has the color palette, but you don't need to buy it for the line. You can just buy it to add paint to your stash. Oh my, that is sparkly. And I know already I'm going to have to dry this. On a completely separate note, I used your toilet paper mold idea in my embossing folders. Oh, Erin, you'll have to send me a photo. I bet you they're quite some pretty. Now I lost my train of thought as to what I was going to do here. I'm going to see if I can lift some of this paint up just using a stamp. This stamp, I don't even know who makes it. And I actually cut it in two. It comes off, but it's just all these circles. And I just want to do some randing, like lifts. There's some stamps that I use for paint, like these ones that I'm using today. I just leave them with my gel press stuff. Not that you can't wash them and reuse them, but where I'm mixing paints, I don't know how well that would be to put it on my ink pads. So just a note to yourself. Okay. And now we're going to have to use a, oh, and I like that too. Look, we're getting all the colors, the pinks, the blues, the greens. Because that dried, because I'm talking too much. Now we have to lift it. I think I will use white again. I would love to see what you come out with, Erin. Someone had commented that it's not a new technique. I didn't think it was, but it was new to me. And I'm thinking, that's fantastic and so much fun. And to get them really like stiff, if you added a little bit of cornstarch or something like that to your water, I bet you that would work. Okay, so going in for a totally new piece of paper for this one. So this is kind of our first pull, other than some tissue paper, and there's a lot going on under here. So let's see if we can see it all. I'm anxious to see how the perfect pearls, because again, I have oodles and oodles of this stuff kicking around. Why not use it? It's kind of cool. I like it. So when we look at our color swatch, we have some pink. So you can definitely see the pink. It does have a little shimmer to it. We can see the blue. We can certainly see that green. So I like that. And I'm going to put that one there. Now we still have a lot of blue and pink. And I think this time I'm going to try to mix the red and some white to get a bolder pink. I'm just going to kind of do it right in the center. close. Can't get over how quick stuff is drying here today. Well, like I said, I have my window open, and plus it was really hot in the house. And as we get into the warm months, gel printing is a bit of a challenge if it's hot days. Another stencil here. And we will, I think I'm going to go back to my tissue paper. And I'm going to pick back up at least on one page, right on top of that other pattern. Oh, cool. It's cool. It looks more red than, well, I think that could get away with that color. I think it would get away with it very easily. Okay, like that. I don't know if you guys watched the commercial with that bicycle, but there's an older lady and she keeps saying, you gotta like that. That's my favorite saying. You gotta like it. And some bubble wrap for added texture. And then I'm going to lift this one up. Put it over there. Who am I kidding? I'm not going to be washing any of my stencils. I keep throwing them on top of the counter and they're drying. And they're gonna dry like that. And I'm okay with that. So now, maybe this paler, we have to use a lot of it. The liquid pearls might blow the top right off of it with the pressure. And it does leave the markings of how you put the pearls down. So do some squigglies and lines and get all fancy. You could actually like do letters if you wanted to, because when I roll it out, for some reason, it's just enough, it sits on it just enough to keep those markings, even though I'm rolling it on. And I think you guys can see that in the camera, because I can see it on my screen. You can see the markings. And this is going to dry really fast. So we're going to need another layer on top of this. Oh my gosh, I like this. Look at how that's turning out. And it's kind of bringing in all these tones. I really like that. Okay. Focus, Sherry. And we will pull with white again. Flip this over because I don't want to put too much white on that piece there, because I like it. Oh. Okay. And you do kind of have to get a little muscle into it, especially if you want to pull it, that's gonna take a lot of it off. And if you're having like a really humid day where things just are not drying, you can take your heat tool at this point and just warm up your paper, and that will help that process too. But today I'm having the opposite effect where things are drying too fast, except for certain inks, like the white is staying wet. I want to get a good pull, so I am going to take my heat tool. Just warm up that paper. good. Oh, I like that. And there's some grunge coming from the previous colors that we had down. Oh, that's nice. Look. And I think it matches that red and that pink very well. And it's very shimmery from the liquid pearls. So, liquid pearls, a definite on your gel press. I'll be pulling them out more often, but I just love this grungy bits. Love it, love it. So what other colors do we need? What do we have so far? So we definitely have enough of the pink and the red. We have this tissue paper that we could add something else to. There's more of that red. We do have some blue. We have some softer pinks. I think we need more greens. So I think if we can get some greens, we'll be good. So for the greens, it's this green. And I'm just wondering if I should use the stencil. Well, maybe I'll just do the green down first, because if I put it through a stencil, it's not going to give me a whole lot of green. And I want to make sure that we have one good piece with lots of green to pick from. And we have our flowers here too, and our butterflies that we can at some point. This is again why I like to have a couple of brayers. It does get gummy from different layers of paint, and that will always leave marks on each pull that you do. So if you wanted to, you can change your brayer. So I'm just pushing these down a little bit, not too much that they're gonna cut my gel plate, but enough that I know all the petals are connecting. And I'm going to take that circle again and just pull some paint this way. And I do have baby wipes here that I probably should make an attempt to clean off my stamp. I'm setting a bad example for you guys. But again, these are background stamps that I just keep with my gel press. So that's why the indigo blue, the price point is excellent. And the paint does come off pretty easy with a baby wipe. So I'm going to pull that one as is, because you'll be surprised what little bits of paint are left under there. Now I want to make sure I get around the flowers this time. The best I can. My goal with our art journal page tomorrow for April is going to be to leave more white space. It's something that I have a hard time with. I like packing in the color, but I also have seen images or art journaling pages where there's more white space, and it's quite nice as well. Now that's different. Definitely have some of that green. Again, we may not need a lot. And we can always add some of the green back in with the paint. Have a little bit of the grungy texture, so that's excellent. And lift these flowers up. And they're pretty good. And I do have some of the pink dilution spray. Ha ha. I think this is going to be pinky pink. It's called bubble gum. Holy moly. Definitely pink. But this is kind of, remember when I said the Tim Holtz products kind of bead up? Well, this is kind of doing that. It's beading up on the surface. And we can take a pull from that, but we're probably not going to get a whole lot. But that looks kind of nice on that tissue paper. That's cool. It's pretty pink. And we're going to, I think I have a bit of blue. I have to keep going back and make sure I have enough of the various colors. I think I'm going to try adding just a little bit of blue into the flower area. So I have to be a little bit delicate with that. Just a little bit, and this won't be my pull. It's just going to be like kind of another layer. And I can even use this tool here to spread it around a little bit instead of the brayer. So these are the Diane Wakely media tools, and these have a rubber ends. So there's 2 flat ones and then 2 round ones, and you can use them for marks. So like you can go in and make marks, and they're actually handy dandy for this kind of work where if you want to color in, and you could take a paintbrush as well or a Q-tip. Just something soft to color in some of the blue within the flowers. The blue's kind of mixing with some of that spray, and we're getting a funky purple. I hope I'm not boring the heck out of you guys with doing this. Oh, we're just a little over an hour. My goal is an hour and a half. I try not to keep this on here for too much more than that. That's a big chunk of your weekend time, and weekends do work best for me because I work Monday to Friday, and to be quite honest, I'm not a late night person. Like, to me, a late night is even 9 p.m. is my brain stops working, so I can't craft that late anymore. When I go away on weekend retreats, I force myself with lots of coffee, but I need recovery time after it. Okay. Oh, I like that paper. So, just got to give that a minute to dry, and then we're going to go back in with the white for our final pull for those colors. I just want that blue to fit here or there a little bit. Like I said, just a little bit. I'm very interested, no worries, it's always possible to multitask. Yes, it is. And I do that all the time, Judy. If I'm watching a crafter, then I might be cooking supper or doing laundry or something else Oh wow, this brilliant pink you see is the wet ink hitting this bubblegum spray. Mercy, mercy. That is bright. I'm going to try to lift some of that paint, because if it's too thick, then we're not going to clean our palette very well. I'm interested to see what this one's going to do. Take a sip of my coffee. I'm actually going away with a girlfriend next weekend. We're going to have a crafty weekend. So I'm very excited about that. I'm taking all my newfound goodies that I posted over on the chat area. And I'm going to play with those. What else am I doing? I'm organizing, and I'm going to show you guys, but I want to get a little bit further into it. It's something that I've seen. Again, I'm always browsing Pinterest, so it definitely isn't my idea, but I keep thinking of it, and then I just change it a little bit to suit my needs. But it's a way to catalog your embellishments, especially ones that are opened and you've used some of them on a project and they're just kind of hanging around. So you catalog them in a way that you can flip through and see what you have very easily, and then use them on other projects. Oh my goodness. Well, this is delightful. Look at that. Now you're getting quite a shine on the camera. It's not that shiny in person. But look how cool those flowers came out. And you can see the stamping. I like that. Huh. Very cool. So I think we're done, and I'm going to use this piece. I could either use that paint or that side. Cataloging is gold. Well, Judy, I think you might like what I'm doing. Like I said, I want to get a little bit further ahead so that I can then show you what I've been doing. Okay, so there's that pile. So this is our last pile, or our last color, and this one's going to be fun. So let me get rid of these paints. Yep. Anybody have perfect pearls? Liquid pearls? 100% for your gel print. I'll be taking those out each and every time, I think, because I have oodles of them, and I just never, you know, you kind of go in cycles of what you're working with. Now this one's a brand new paint. Again, it's a bright color, not usually one that I work with. It's Dylusions, and it's called Tangerine Dream. There's a bright orange on this one. Yes, so I'm going to take some stuff and hopefully do a little bit more cataloging while I'm away. My friend and I are very funny. We only get together a couple times a year, and so happy to see each other, and we talk and we catch up in the car drive, because it's a couple hours drive. And when we get to where we're staying, we both watch movies and craft with the occasional nod to each other, and then we stop and eat and all that good fun stuff. So that's going to be one of the oranges. I also have another spray. Dylusions colors are bright, and this one's called Sweetened Orange, I think is what it is. And I have this one from Stamperia that's just orange. Now this one, I think if we could probably make it closer to this one looks almost like pumpkin. So if I add a little bit of cream to this, I'm thinking we'll get this. And then this is definitely that big one, that bright one. And then we have this turquoisey one again. Did I decide on that one? I don't know what I decided on. No, we're going to use this blue for that one. That's pretty bang on. And then the light blue that we had before, this one, I'm going to use for that one. And then there's this soft pink. So I do have the Perfect Pearls Mist. It's called Interference Red. But it's looking like more of a pink. Could be faded from as long as it's been in my stash. But we also have this pink, which is a nice light pink. And I think that will do it. Okay. Don't need that one. And I have pink left on my gel press. So like that light pink that's there, hopefully we'll be able to pick some of that up. So let's start. I always like starting with light colors and then bringing in the dark, because the dark will stand out a lot more than the light. So if I lay down some light first. What if, okay, let's start with this orange. And we'll mix it with the cream to try to get yeah, I have a lot of fun in my craft room just organizing things. I have a label maker. Don't yell at me. I'm one of those nerds. I label everything. When I get my stamps and dies, I repackage everything, print out a label with the company and the name. And then I put it in my stash in a way that I know where it's at. Oh, I think that's going to match perfectly. Look at that. I think that's brilliant. And I do want a stencil. I don't think we used this one yet. And we'll pick up the pattern first. And I'm pretty good. I know where, I'm pretty good to remember where I place things and what I have. And I think it's because I repackage them and I take the time to label everything and put it in an organized way for my brain. And that way I'm able to remember. If I just get stuff and throw it on my counter, then I have issues with remembering if I purchased it or not. And yes, I have made the second purchase. Who hasn't, right? And then that's when my friend benefits. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. I can imagine me taking a black pen and outlining some of these shapes. Please share more. I have a labeler but haven't started a real system. It's an interest area of anyone else's. Well, I do plan on taking you through and doing like a little craft room tour at some point. Just, if nothing else, to inspire you that you do not need a huge space. So we, 5 years ago, we sold what we call our bigger house. It was like 3 stories. And my craft area was the basement. So I had about 850 square feet all to myself. And I was able to spread out. I was able to have like little crafting parties with my friends, blah, blah, blah. And had lots of space for all the things. Well, we decided to downsize. And when we built this, what we're calling our last house, much, much smaller. And my craft room is probably 8 by 9. So that's a huge decrease. Did I purge? Like heck. I got rid of a lot of things. But that's kind of when I adopted the system of, okay, you really need to know what you have in your room, where it is, and when something new comes in, most likely something has to leave. So that's kind of my system, but yeah, I'll share it with you. What color should I use next? Orange and blue, maybe. And those ideas, a lot of them came from Jennifer McGuire. I started watching her videos a long time ago. I don't watch them so much anymore, but a lot of her storage ideas I adopted, and I really like them. So I'll have a look and see if Heather can get in some of the plastic pouches. I think she had them in at one time. Hero Arts makes them, and there's other companies that make them, but I use a lot of the plastic pouches to store my stamps, dies, stencils. So I don't mind sharing at all. I'm going to take another stamp. Let's see, which one do I want? Oh, this one's nice. This is, it's an old, all these stamps are very old. It's a Cartabella diamond. I'm just going to stamp into here. Maybe some over here. And then some more up here. I'm just going to take a baby wipe right fast. And now with being on the design team, I have to be, I keep telling myself, Sherry, watch out what you're buying, because, you know, if you use it and then people like it, and if it's sold out, that's a problem. But I just like it, and I buy it, and then it's like, I don't want to move it or use it because it's no longer available by the time I get around to using it. But you guys know the story. I'm still going to get it. I moved all mine over to an Avery Elle envelope. That's the supplier, Avery Elle. They make them too. Yeah, those envelopes. We do get them in, but they never last. Yeah, so Heather, if you're watching, or Diane, if you can send Heather a message and ask her to get some more of those in, that would be fantastic. And then I'm just going to mask off a few butterflies. Flutter butters. I kind of like them just right on that blue. And one down here. I'm going to take a piece to pull what we can from around the butterflies. The big ones. Jennifer, you're asking for the big ones, like the big Avery Elle envelopes. Every time I get a new stamp, stencil, or die, I immediately repackage it into the one of the Avery Elle ones. Yep. Yep. So before I show you my room, I'll see if Heather can get her hands on some, because I want them to be available to you. Oh, well, this is funky. I'm not sure how much this matches, but I like it. It's kind of like got a little bit of orange and a little bit of blue, and like just this piece here. I like this. Lots of good stuff there. We'll take off our butterflies. 9x6. I use the System 2, works well. Great. So you guys know what I'm talking about. You have to find something that works for you, though. It can be great for somebody else, but you really have to try it for yourself and see how it works for you. Now there's what they're calling it, cream pink. So I am going to put a layer of this. This is Petal Pink Liquid Pearls. And I may not put it over everywhere. I'm just waiting for the end to pop right off of that because I'm putting a lot of pressure. Usually you don't want that much perfect pearls out at a time. And then with that I'm going to mix a little bit of the cream. see if we can get a layer to pull these colors. See, I love this conversation while we're doing prints. I love hearing about what kind of stuff you guys are looking at, and share your ideas with each other. It's terrific. I learned so much from what you guys tell me. It's fantastic. I don't know if this is going to be wet enough to get a clean plate, but we'll see. I'm a huge organizer. Yeah. I hate hunting for stuff. Me too. Constantly feel like I'm reorganizing something. Well, I am, because I'm trying to fit it in. So I'm constantly pulling out and thinking, oh yes, I can fit it all in. And then I just have to give in and purge. So I just did a purge not too long ago. And it kills me because some of the stuff I purge I've never used, because I'm a collector of fine things. My husband's outside, but he knows. This is my de-stressor, and he knows how much joy. He's always been a huge supporter of me with this craft, and I think most of us can say the same thing, if not all of us, because I think they really see the difference it makes in our lives and bringing us joy. Well, this is going to be interesting. I love it. Now, the orange didn't come through the way I was hoping it would, but actually the design has got the hint of orange. We got some of that blue, got some of that pink, so it will do. It will do. Definitely need more. Well, we got quite a bit of the blue. We need some of this one, Tangerine Dream. Wonder if I have to take the thing off of it. Yep. Never opened. Look at that. And that is one bright color. I'm wondering if I need to put it through a stencil to decrease a little bit on how much of that bright color is on there. You are always so positive. Well, I work in an environment that, not that my environment's very positive. I work with like the office environment is a great office environment, but I work in healthcare, and we all know the stresses and like the things that need to improve in healthcare. So 9 hours, sometimes 10 hours of my day is focused on things that aren't so positive. So you've got to get positivity in somewhere, and I choose my craft. And I'm not a drama person. I don't like being part of groups that have a lot of drama, and that is what I really like about this group. Everyone's so supportive, and you guys are just so kind to each other, and I love it. So that's big. I'm just taking this little tool and pulling out the paint of some of these little channels. I don't know why I'm doing this, because I don't think it's going to make a heck of a difference. But I just felt like doing some tracing. But I will pull out the center. I'm going to do some bubble wrap. This bubble wrap's getting well used. You could almost collage that on something itself. And I think I'm going to take some dictionary paper, because I haven't done too much dictionary paper. That's always fun to incorporate in your art journaling classes. That is one tangerine of an orange. gosh, the stencil is looking so groovy with all the colors on it. I'm thinking we should chop that up at some point and use in our journals. Oh well, can't chop everything off. We got some hints of blue around the edges. We can add on to that. Let's put a little bit more blue around the four corners. Oh. And I'll take a little brayer and just kind of go around all the edges. You can just, you know, I think I keep saying it, there's nothing you can't do with your gel press. This one here is the little Tim Holtz one, which is really nice. He has like a standard size one and then the small one. And of course Sherry has both because, you know, Tim Holtz is my main squeeze, even though he may not know it. And even though I'm sure I'm not his flavor, but I think he is just a cool guy. Okay, I like that. Now let's put a spritz of this orange on. Whether to blend that in or not, so I don't want it to lift up my pattern, but I don't think it will. I'm just going to give that a little dry time so we can get that dry, and I'm going to pull all this with a lighter blue. I don't want to put too much heat. There's the lighter blue. And you know, I always say it, you might get up from your gel print session and hate every paper you pulled. You might think it's trash. Do not throw them away. It's leave them dry completely, work with them, and I bet you'll love them. Because they're just so unique. Like, you can't recreate anything that you pull, even if you wanted to. You can't do it. It's impossible. So this is like, every time you pull a print, it's unique. Now, something else you can do with your prints is you can then go back. I have archival inks in a various of colors. So I could go in with some of my stamps and stamp over the pulls once they're completely dry with archival. And the reason why I say archival is because if you have anything that's water-based, like if I did it with the Distress inks, that's great, but when I hit it with my gel medium, it's going to make them react, and it will kind of reactivate the ink. So whatever I'm stamping will probably be either blurred out or smudged out. And you may want that look. But if I'm going to stamp some like fine writing or some text or something, then I probably want it there. So I'll use archival, and that won't react with. Now if I pull down, I seem to be able to get more. Oh, I really like this. I'm saying that about them all. I really like this one. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I think we have almost every color in here. I really think we do. I really like that. What is the white paper? It's regular old copy paper, Diane. It's like just copy paper that you would use in a copy machine. And the reason I've tried different papers, now I am using some dictionary paper, glassine bags, I have some tissue paper, and all that's great because it's thin. I find when I try to go to a thicker weight paper, I don't get enough ink. Like it doesn't pull the ink from the plate as well. And I'm not sure if it's because it just can't soak it in if it's not enough. But I use copy paper, and the nice thing is it's just thin, so that when you're making your layers in your journal, you're not left with big dimension. And the other thing is it gets pretty stiff once it's completely dry, so it gets more oomph to work with once it's dry, because you got all these layers on there. Really like that. So let me see, what else do we need? I think we're pretty much set for this one, but I want to clean this plate. And which color do I need more of? I have a bit of blue. I have enough orange. I don't really have much of that pink. So, what should I do? And I don't have a lot of this. There's a little bit on there. So I think I'm going to go half and half and see if I can pull this stuff off the edges. And I'm going to put some of the liquid pearls right in the paint this time, to see if I can get it to blend out with the paint instead of just in globs, because I kind of want that pale pink. So there's that one, and this one's pretty liquidy, so I think I'm going to leave that one on its own. And then even this paper has a lot of the colors. Would you mind listing the colors you used today in groups, especially the tangerine? Yeah, I certainly can. The ones that are deco art, I don't think Heather carries those at the store, so there'd be really no point in me mentioning those. But I can just list the colors, and I'll tell you if it's Stamperia, because I know she carries Stamperia. But to be honest, deco art, I don't even know where I got those. I had them in my stash for years. But yes, I certainly can. I can even do a photo if you want of the different. I got this quite juicy now. Okay, but I do want to make sure that I get the edges. So I might have to do a couple of pulls, but that's okay. I think she has Delusion paints on her site. She carried a lot of them at one point. And the deco art, they're cheaper, but they're not near as good. The Stamperia paints are awesome. Anything liquid text, they're a little bit more expensive, but they'd be good. But then again, you have to gauge yourself as to what you're using your stuff for. It's not going to be any good to you if you're putting it in the drawer and forgetting about it for a year. Oh, that's some bright orange there, Tangerine. Look at that. We'll have lots of that to play with. There's a little bit of green and blue. Look, I did get some of the edges. That's my favorite part. Like, if I don't use anything but this little piece right here, I'll be so happy. And now I'm going to do one more pull, just using some white and seeing what I can get lifted off. And that's kind of how you clean your plate too. You just keep pulling pieces. until your plate is clean. And I might put it away with still a little bit of grunge on the edges. That doesn't bother me at all. But if that's something that bothers you, then take your time. You can use a little bit of, like I said, baby oil just to soften the crusty edges and get it off. You can use a little bit of warm water, whatever you happen to have on hand. And what I'll do, Judy, is I'll make a new, maybe I can go into the description of this one. I'll see if I can include it in the description, if I can go back and edit the description of this video. I'll put in the colors there, but if I can't, then what I'll do is I'll just make a new post and say, you know, Saturday's gel print class. This is what I used for colors. And if you have other paper, if you don't have copy paper, but you have like Neenah, try it. You might find it works fine for you because it is very dependent how your gel plate works, where you live, your humidity, the heat in your house. Like all that does play a big factor as to how things lift. I'm just really trying to get the edges. It's being stubborn. Maybe if I add a little heat. I see what's down there, and it's going to be very pretty. Oh, you're most welcome, Erin, and thank you for saying that. That is our hope, as Diana and I, we always say, if we can leave you guys with some inspiration and ways to use your products. We know there's oodles of videos out there, but there's something special about having your local store support teaching and classes. And these are completely free to you guys, other than you buying the product. If you need any, like 100% free. That's always nice. Oh, I think I like this one too. I didn't get all the edges, but that's okay. Look at that grungy goodness. Seeing lots of Dylusions and Stamperia listed. I'll be ordering some, yep. Make a create sign for my craft room. Aw, that's nice. Making a create sign. That's awesome. Look at this. I love it. There's some blue, there's some tangerine, and there's that soft pink that we need. It's like very soft pink. So don't forget about your liquid pearls. Like liquid pearls. I'm sure this is probably one of the first things I ever had in my stash. Dig them out. Your pastes. Any of your colored pastes. Just because I'm not using it. It doesn't matter. If you have it and it fits your color palette, add it to your gel press and see what it does. It's all great. Okay, let me show you what we ended up accomplishing today. I'm going to pull that away. Starting with our most recent. I actually did a lot of pulls for this one. So there's our color palette, or this side. So we have this one, which has some tangerine, has some blue, lots of that pink. This is just our sheet that I rolled my brayer on. Might be able to salvage it for something. Lots of tangerine on this one. And here, this is what I'll use probably off of this one. Maybe some of this edging. And then we have some of the blue with tangerine, just some dictionary paper with the tangerine. And then this one we have more of the two blues. And this one more of just the blues. This one's this kind of pumpkin-y color here. So that's that one. And we'll have lots left over to use for whatever else we want. And then for this one, we have, this is the Brighter sheet, which is one of my favorite sheets because it has a little bit of all the colors. And this one was super cool too. Like I might even fussy cut some of these, imagine fussy cutting, but I might fussy cut some of these flowers and include them on our layout for, this one will be for May. We'll see. And I did a little bit of tissue paper with the pink. I want to play with the stuff. I need to finish my It's fun. It is so much fun. This is the green. So like, you know, we'll have lots of that green and it's got lots of texture and stamping. There's that, it's almost like a cherry color. And there's more of that cherry color, but it has some nice grunge in there. And then here we have some of the pink, some of the light green, like some of that light green, and the pink, and then over here we have the blue and the light green. So we have lots for that one. And then the very first one that we did, the last pulls are generally my favorite ones because there's so much stuff left on the plate that you can't even see. But then if you take it off, especially with a neutral, that's why you always have to have neutrals hanging about, then you'll get some lovely, and I love this one. I love it just for what it is, but you can certainly see this green and some of this kind of mustardy yellow in there. Again, this was the roll-off sheet, so we got some of all the colors in here, even some of that dark. So even if we took just this section and added it to our journal layout, we're going to have instant colors. And then that's some of that mustardy, just with the white. I like that. And here's some of the green and the mustard, some dictionary paper, that dark green, and this was an attempt at this blue. I don't know if I quite like it with the dark green, but we do have some separate blues, some glassine. So there's more of that blue, and I like this section very much. And you know, I like this, and I do like the empty spaces with just the numbers. This one was very dark, but this one does have a very dark color. So maybe around the edges we'll incorporate it, but this one's also cool. So this one has some of that dark, it has some of this blue, it has the mustard for sure, and a little bit of the lighter blue, I do believe. So well, now there we go. That was quite the session. And we are now set up for the next 3 months of journal making. And I can't wait till tomorrow. We're going to be using this stash. I do believe this is the one I pulled for May. Yes, because of the white caps. So we're going to be using this stash tomorrow. I can't wait. So same time, same place tomorrow. And we'll be doing our journaling class. We'll see you over on the auction this evening. Thanks everyone for joining. As always, leave some comments and let me know what you're working on. Send me some pictures. I would love to see it. Chat soon. Bye for now.